Okay, now the second step, we can see inside the cavity now. We can very plainly see the ribs. We can see the cavity fat. And these are the kidneys. So we want to remove the kidneys. You can simply remove the kidneys by just tearing them. And then any excess flank or cavity fat that you see present, just remove it. Expose the ribs. And now we're ready to break out the shoulder, the square shoulder. We're ready to break out the rib, the loin, and the leg. So simply, you would count ribs. So we're looking at 4 ribs in the shoulder, or 5. Now, depending on your fabrication, if you cut down to the posterior side of the 5th rib, simply what that does is it lengthens the square cut of the shoulder, but it shortens the rack. So depending on what you want to do with the rack will determine what you do with the rib count. Take your knife, slice down the rib on either side. Again, you want to knife the meat as much as possible before you use the breaking saw. Separates the square shoulder. Now we want to take out the rack. Again, knife it. Just follow the rib on both sides and simply saw. It's a little challenging to get the saw in there, but you want to have a nice straight cut across the loin if you can. Breaks out your rack, your square cut shoulder. And now what's remaining is the loin and the leg. Again, you can just trim out some of this body cavity fat here. Just clean that up so you can see where you're working. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this with the breaking saw in 2 halves. So knife it first with your knife, and then let the saw slowly start to break through the vertebrae. Just let the saw naturally slide through the vertebrae. Don't apply too much pressure on it, because the blade will tend to twist and go into the loin meat. Just let the blade naturally slide through it, and you should get a nice division of the loin and 2 legs. Knife the rest of it. That's your division. Now to break out the leg from the loin, it's pretty simple. What you need to look for now are the vertebrae. And what I want to do is knife it between the first and second vertebrae. Right here. And that will be the division of your loin and your leg. Okay, so we have now is the breast. We have this square cut shoulder. We have our rack. We have our leg. And we have our loin.